Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Deb, this is my channel, Giggy on Gower. I'm pleased to know that I'm pleased to hear that recently the Sunday Times, I don't know why I don't get the Times, has voted Gower as the most desirable place to live in Wales. So happy days for us. I don't know who votes in those things. I don't know how they judge that. I've just seen it on the internet. Anyway, so this is going to be a bit of a different video today because I was going to do a vlog style video and I might do that another day, but the vlog I was going to, well, what I filmed was what I did at the weekend, but it was rubbish. I'm not joking because I'm just rubbish at filming out and about. So what we did at the weekend, Saturday morning, I got my hair cut. Saturday evening, early evening, we went out for my son-in-law's birthday to a restaurant. We went to Nishimura in Mumbles, which is a Japanese restaurant. Highly recommend if anybody wants. There's two Nishimuras in Swansea. There's the one in Uplands and the one in Mumbles. Highly recommend Nishimuras if you like Japanese food. And then on Sunday, my daughter Caitlin and I, we went to a witch's fair. There was a witch's, well, they called it a witch's fair. I wouldn't say it was exceptionally witchy. I don't know what that is anyway, but it was more like vendors selling vaguely esoteric things. So jewelry, some clothing, some food, some candles, lots of stone, like crystals and stones. There were some healers, I guess you'd call them. Some people doing Reiki healing. Some people, like there was a guy there, I'm not sure what it is. It's like a bed that you like tilt. Well, not a bed, like a contraption that you tilt so your head's upside down. I wouldn't have gone on any of these. So anyway, I did a bit of filming, but in the end I thought, oh, it's not worth it. So what I'm going to do today, I've got a list. I've had this list from last year. And the list is what I know. As I've got older, what I know. And so I thought I'd do a series of these because I thought what I know at 60, what I've learned along the way. And you might think, well, what do you know? And kind of that is the point, that we don't know as much as we think we do. And so this list, I'll read what I thought it, because it's 60 things I know at 60. And so I thought I can't read the 60 things and discuss them in one video. So I thought I'd do a series of 4 videos. So I'll do 15 items at a time. So I'll either do the videos in one after the other. So for the next 4 weeks, I'll be talking about the 60 things I know at 60, or I'll do them once a month. And I think that's probably a bit better because you don't want to be bombarded by things I think I know, do you? No. Who wants to know that? And yeah, think about the things you know at 60 that you didn't know when you were younger, that you thought were important, but you realised, or things that you might disagree with me. You might think that the things I think I know are not true. Like, obviously, they're from my perspective. And you might disagree with me on the whole anyway. So I've got them on my phone. So I'm going to, what was that? So I'm going to read them. So excuse the state of my glasses. Look, how do I see out of those glasses? Impossible. So the things, so I'm going to start, I'm going to do 15 things. And I'm going to start with the first thing that I've got in here, which is look after your teeth. And I haven't always looked after my teeth. Like I had some teeth removed. Hold on, I'm going to stop the video here because I can hear my husband coming down the stairs. Yeah, sorry, that was my husband. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying about my teeth. Like saying about your teeth. Look after them. Go to the dentist if you can. If you can afford to, go to the dentist. I'm not saying have them whitened, but just look after them, because when you get older, your teeth are, you've had your teeth for a long time, So you need to look after them so they'll last you as long as they can. So that's the first thing. That's my first thing that I'm saying. My second thing, right, this is going to be controversial because I've touched on this before, is don't diet. And I'm not saying don't look after your health. What I'm saying is, this is in retrospect. Like, had I had my time over, I wouldn't diet. I have been on a diet for a long time, and I think that is what has messed up my metabolism, messed up my relationship with food, messed up my relationship with my own body. And I think that is the thing that is the second thing that I would say is don't diet. And even now, I think that over Christmas, I wasn't that careful with what I ate, and that has lingered on. And I think that trying to get back to my normal way of eating has been quite hard. And when I talk about my normal way of eating, I mean, I generally eat like quite low carb, quite high protein, and I feel better for that. And I honestly, it struck me this morning that when I eat a lot of carbs, I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a good place. I feel lethargic, I feel tired, I can't sleep. And that brings me on to another point, is getting enough sleep. I'm wagging my finger like I'm telling you that this is all as it applies to myself, not as how it applies to anybody else. Anybody else can do what they want. So yeah, so it's about health, and that's my third point, is look after whatever health you have. Not everybody's healthy. Not everybody can be healthy, because some people have things that they can't help. If you get an illness and you can't help that, but try and be as healthy as you can within that. Some people have a disability. Try and be as healthy as you can within that disability. Some people, I think I'm quite lucky that I haven't had any of those things, and I do count myself lucky. But what my point is, look after whatever you have, look after the health you have. So I do have, I came across this note that I wrote in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. And I'll talk about the notes that I write in another video, not today, but the note said that I felt quite low because of my health. And at that point I had really piled on the weight because I was in the sheltering thing. And why I was in that is because I have got three conditions that I can't do anything about. Well, I sort of could. So the first thing was sarcoidosis. It's a condition that you have benign tumours on parts of your body, and I had one on my parotid gland. So, and anyway, but the thing about sarcoidosis, it's a health condition. It's an autoimmune condition. So that was the one thing that I had. The second thing I had was iron deficiency anemia, which I was struggling to become stable. At that point, it's stable now. I'm no longer iron deficient anemic. I've had iron, what are they called? Stop. Iron infusions, and that's why you might have noticed that I've got some scarring on my hands. So, and that's where I've had the infusion put in my hands. So, and also I have uveitis, which is high. I had high eye pressure, and it's all it's to do with is the shape of my eye. But uveitis is extremely high eye pressure. So all these things combined to make me feel pretty miserable, and there was nothing I could do about it at that time. But my point being is, look after whatever health you have. And also, because of being in lockdown, all I could do was sit on my sofa. So now I don't do that. Now I don't sit on my sofa for days on end. Obviously, in those days, a lot of us were doing that. And I'm not going to harp back on that, but that was something that I thought about. And it's made, what that did do, it made me value my health and value the health I have. I'm not saying I'm the healthiest person in the world, and I'm not saying I'm the most unhealthy person in the world. You just got to try your best. That's all I can say, is try your best with your health. And then, this is another point I've got. How many points? I think that was the fourth. So look after your teeth, don't diet, look after your health, get the sleep you need. Some people, fantastic after 4 hours sleep. I think somebody said that. I think Margaret Thatcher or somebody back in the 80s said that, look, that she used to survive on 4 hours sleep. Well, I'd be like a zombie if I had 4 hours sleep. But I think the older you get, the less sleep you need. I've heard that, or the more sleep you need. I don't know anything about that. But I think just try and get as much sleep as you need. I'm not very good at sleeping. I wake up I hate this friend. Do I hate her? I don't know. I'll have to fix it, I think. Well, yeah, get as much sleep as you need. So that's my fourth point. My fifth point is that your looks don't matter. Unless you make a living from your looks, it doesn't matter what you look like. As long as you feel happy within yourself and you've got people in your life that love you and care for you, your looks don't matter unless you make a living from your looks. So I guess somebody who is expected to look a certain way, then your looks do matter. So I guess like somebody like Jennifer Aniston, she makes a living from looking the way she looks, not just looking the way she looks. Obviously your talent in acting or whatever, unless you're an actor and you have to look a certain way, or a model, and there are models of our age, there are models of 60, and then I guess your looks matter because you have to look a certain way to fit in the clothes. You have to be a certain size to fit in the clothes. Your face has to look a certain way. And I feel like there are some models who don't look classically beautiful, but it's not about beauty, it's about your looks. And it does, I'm not talking about beauty. I'm talking about any way you look, your height, your weight, your outer appearance is not the most important thing about you. It doesn't matter unless you make a living from that. Having said that, that's my fifth point. Having said that, you do you. If you like makeup, if you like clothes, if you like tattoos, if you like hair, whatever you want to do to your hair, you should, if you can afford it, then you should take as much joy as you can from doing those things, from having tattoos, from having your hair done, from buying makeup and wearing makeup every day if you want to. But if you don't do it. But don't judge on those people that do. So that is my sixth point, I guess. Yeah, it's like, I kind of think it is a bit disingenuous to say that looks don't matter in life because we are judged by our looks. Like if I went into a shop, dirty, scruffy hair, and tried to speak to someone there, they might be like, oh, no, stinky. No, what I'm just saying is do whatever you can to make you feel happy with your looks. And just be aware that people probably do judge you from what you look like. But that's not the most important thing in life. So anyway, that's my sixth point. So let me crack on. Okay, I feel like this is a key point. Know yourself. And that I think is really important. You should know yourself. By the time you get to 60, you should know what you like and what you don't like, and what you are and what you are like. And I think to myself, like for me personally, I know that I am introverted. And that doesn't mean that I only ever like being alone, but it means that I don't replenish by being in a lot of company. I replenish by being on my own. And even like I think I've mentioned that my daughter Kate, she's been off work for a couple of weeks because she left one job and she hasn't started a new job. So she's been here during the day, more times than she would normally be, because she's currently in the process of trying to find a house to buy as well. So that's her business. I don't want to talk about her business, but all I'm saying is my husband as well, he normally travels away a lot, and his job. So normally I'm spend quite a lot of time on my own at home. I think maybe if you've retired and your partner hasn't retired, then you understand what I mean. You spend the days at home, or if you work from home, you spend a lot of time on your own. But I haven't been, and I'm tired. I'm tired of peopling. So that's something no, that is my point. Know yourself. I know that I need to spend some time on my own in order to recharge and replenish and fill my own cup. I need to be able to have time to potter around the house, clean, not talk at all. And so, yeah, I guess that's one thing. That's my 6th point. So my 7th point, is don't worry what others think of you. I guess I'm on the internet and I ask people to follow me. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, well, you do you, which I guess that is generally my attitude, is you do what you want. Don't follow me if you don't want to. Do follow me if you do want to. It's up to you. And my point being, don't worry about what people think about you. Because I think we can get bogged down in that. I get bogged down in it. I think, oh, what if they don't like this? What if they don't like... But I didn't even start this channel thinking that I was ever going to get anybody watching it. It was, I did it for myself. I did it so I could talk about what I wanted to talk about. And I haven't actually been talking about what I want to talk about, because you get bogged down in, oh, I liked that thing that so-and-so did, or I want to do that too. Or what if I talk about this and people don't like me for it, so I better not talk about that. And anyway, my point is, don't worry about what other people think, because I'm not in charge of what other people think. I'm only in charge of what I think. I'm not even in charge of what my closest family and friends think about me. My mum, my daughters, my husband. That's... I'm not saying don't take other people's opinions on board. That is important. Because otherwise we go, half cocked half the time, isn't it? That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying I don't care about what other people think in general, but you shouldn't care about what people think. I shouldn't care what people think about me, because I'm not in control of that. And I can't do anything about that. Unless I'm being totally obnoxious, in which case, yeah, take that on board if someone says, oh, wind your neck in a bit. Fair. So my 7th, was that my 7th point? 6th, 7th, whatever. I'm losing with the point. So my next point is, do something that makes you feel good. And I think that is something else that we as older women tend not to do. I think we tend to look after other people. We tend to get bogged down with our chores. And this has been a lifetime, isn't it, of not putting yourself first. But I think we should do things that make us feel good. And that could be a small thing. That can be lighting a candle. That can be going for a walk somewhere that you enjoy going for a walk. It could be relaxing in a bath. It could be putting something pretty on, or putting something that you enjoy that you enjoy wearing. It could be making something that you enjoy eating. Just reading a book, listen to music, just general things that make us feel good. And I feel like I've really, really lost that point over Christmas because of SAD. And so, yeah, I try and remember that. Just try and remember to do something that makes you feel good. So now I'm getting to the nitty-gritty of these points. Always question the caper. And that means always, if you read something in the papers, on the internet, on threads, on other forums, always question the agenda of the person who's saying that thing, because there's always a caper. And I think that one thing that we've always got to ask ourselves when we're reading something and we believe it is, who benefits from us believing that? Who benefits the most? So, yeah. And I think particularly in this day and age where, okay, so there are 2 points. Like the news, if it's highly regulated, who are the people who are benefiting from that? And the news, if it's not regulated at all, like things that you see and read on the internet, who benefits from that? And so the point is, just question things. Don't just believe things that people tell you. Don't just believe this absolute B that I'm telling you now. Just think about things in your own life. You know, who benefits from saying something and who doesn't benefit from that? And always just bear that in mind. I bear that in mind when I'm reading the news. And yeah, that is something. And that's not a political statement. It's a statement in life. Who benefits the most? Question the caper. And that brings me on to my next point, which is everything in society is created. There's no such thing as normal. There's no normal. Everything in society is created and has been created from centuries ago. So, for example, language is not created, is not natural. It's been created and it evolves. So just because we say a word now, so words that we say these days, YouTube, that wasn't around 20 years ago or however long ago. The word YouTube wasn't around however many years ago. But if you say YouTube now, everybody knows what you're talking about. Twitter, that is no longer around because now it's X. I'm not on that. But that is something that, you know, but if you say, oh, so and so tweet, and people still say tweet because it's like to put something, to make us write a statement on the internet and put it out into the world. People know that word. It used to mean a sound that birds made, isn't it? Shops, Tesco. If I talk about Tesco, people in the UK know what I'm talking about. But if I said that somewhere where Tesco doesn't exist, like for example, South Africa, they don't have Tesco in South Africa. But if I said in South Africa, Pick and Pay, they would know that what I meant, which is equivalent to Tesco-ish. If I, you know, all work garden. Years ago, people didn't garden. They didn't have gardens because, like, I don't know however many centuries ago, but this is, you know, I was having a discussion this morning with my husband about history and actually how in the world, how lately there seems to be there seem to be, well, I'm reading this and I don't know, question the caper, isn't it? But I read that they are taking money away from schools for certain subjects and universities for certain subjects. And a lot of those subjects are subjects where you can't get a job. So things like history, philosophy, English, arts. And people are, well, they're useless degrees. What are those degrees? Those degrees are things that teach people how to question things and how to think. And yeah, you might not be able to get a job doing plumbing, or you might not be able to get a job doing electronics, or you might not be able to get a job doing computers with those degrees. But what those degrees do is they teach you how to think. And I feel like those degrees have massive value because in this day and age, I think that knowing how to think and how to evaluate things is one of the most important skills that you can have. And people might disagree with me and think, well, why should I pay my taxes for that? Well, I thought, well, why should I pay my taxes for lots of things that I don't agree with? But also, why actually paying taxes? That is not something that is just the normal. That is something that came in hundreds of years ago. And how we live now is not the norm. You know, so it's like and so that's another thing, like things, another point is what we are taught in school is just a fraction of that subject. So the maths that we're taught in school is just a fraction of maths. You know, not even people who've got PhDs in maths know the whole of maths or the whole of astronomy or the whole of history, because my daughter, she's got a degree in classics, but not the whole of classics, just one tiny little minute part of classics has she studied. So people who are experts don't know the whole of that subject. And I think that we think, oh, well, we learnt this in school, so that must be the whole of that. No, that isn't the whole of that. That's just the most minute part of that. And this will be kind of my last point for today. And the point that I want to make is, no, it won't be my last point. I've got 2 points. You'll have a future, even if you can't imagine it. When I was in my 20s, even younger, when I was in my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, I didn't ever imagine being 60 and what that would entail. I didn't imagine that I would have children and grandchildren and a house. I can remember like years and years ago, I worked for a bank, and when I worked there, one of the perks of working for this bank was that you could get a lower interest mortgage. And my father, who is no longer with us, was always saying to me, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house on this low mortgage. And I was like, oh no, I can't imagine taking on such a responsibility that I would need to pay off a mortgage. And I was in my early 20s, and no, I couldn't imagine living that long, to be honest. And I know that's not the reality for people. Not everybody thinks that way, but that's how I thought. I couldn't imagine a future, but you will have a future. And that's something I've learned in my 60s, is that you will have a future. And that's not me saying that you should buy a house, because I know for the reality of many people in Britain today of that age that I was when actually we did buy a house. My husband and I have bought quite a few houses over our life, not because we were trying to make money off them. Honestly, most of the houses that we've had, we haven't made money on because they haven't been in this country. And so this is the one and only house that we've ever owned in this country. But you will have a future, and that's something I didn't realize when I was even 50 and 40 and 30 and 20. No, but you will. And it's something to look forward to. Like I say to my husband, the future's weird because you can't envision the future. We don't know what's going to happen to us. We don't know where we're going to find ourselves. And I think that kind of leads me on to my next point, which is there are consequences to your choices, some of which will be unknown, most of which will be unknown, but you only travel the path you take. There's no other path. There's no sliding door of another path. So the choice you make is always the right choice. And so you shouldn't think too much about it, because it'll be a choice and you'll make it and you'll travel that path. And the path you didn't take is gone. There was no if I did this, then this would be the consequences. And if I do this, then these will be the consequences. You can't see the consequences. You can't see the result of the consequences. So you just have to know that there's no point in worrying about the path you didn't take. You just took the path you took, and it's led you to where you are today. And that's something that I know in my 60s. So, excuse me. Oh, cough. And then my final point is, most of us will not be rich. Most of us will just live our lives, and they'll be the lives we live. And some of us are better off than others. Some of us are worse off, and we struggle through life. But that's life. And if we're lucky, we get to 60. And so, yeah, they are I think I've maybe had 15, but whatever. This is my first or this is my first in my series of what I know at 60 that I didn't know at 50, that I didn't know at 40, that I didn't know at 30 or 20. So this is what I know today. So thank you very much for watching if you watched, and I'll carry on with this series. Probably won't be next week. Maybe a bit less heavy going next week. But thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and press the notification. Bye.